Hi, and welcome to the Slingers Quick Start video. Let's start by opening up the game box. When fully opened, the box's cover panels become the play area. Note the wild magic area on the left and available spell area on the right. Next, take out the player references and distribute one to each player. These quick references have the actions you can take during your turn on the front of the card, and the full rules for the game on the back of each card. I won't go over the entire rules right now, just an overview for the moment, as we'll cover the rest while we show you how to play. The objective of the game is to obtain 18 victory points worth of spell cards, and each spell card has a victory point value in the top left corner. Each turn, you'll start by using up to 3 conjure actions to gather or alter your dice, and end your turn by priming spells. Priming consists of placing one or more dice onto available spell cards, and if you fully prime a spell by filling the last requirement icon, you take that card. Once it's in your possession, you can cast it for its stated effect at any time during the rest of the game. With that in mind, let's resume setup. Take out and shuffle the deck of spell cards, deal 1 card face down to each player, and deal 1 face-up spell card on each available spell slot of the game board. The face-down card is your secret spell, and you can check it at any time. Your secret counts as an available spell to you, and only you. Next, give each player 4 shards, our elemental dice, and have them roll those dice to set their starting elements. Then, take all the remaining shards and roll them onto the wild magic area. This sets a starting pool of shards for players to draw from. And with that, you're ready to play. Alright, let's take a look at the Conjure Shards phase. These actions help you acquire and alter your shards, which are the main resource of the game. First up is Gather Essence, your most common method to acquire more shards. When you gather essence, roll any 1 die from the wild magic area and take it, along with any other wild magic shards that match your roll up to your held limit of 6 dice. As an example, here I roll a wild magic shard, and the result is water. Counting my roll, there are 3 water shards available, but I can only take 2 as that maxes out my held limit of 6 shards. The next conjure action is Transmutation, which allows you to turn 1 or more of your shards into the next element along the elemental cycle. This cycle is indicated on the right side of the player reference. Remember, transmutation always goes clockwise on this cycle, and cannot go back the other way. Here's some examples. First, I'm going to take my single light shard and convert it into a fire shard. Then, as a second action, I'm going to convert my 2 fire shards into 2 metal shards. Next up is Chaotic Exchange, a fairly standard push-your-luck tool. Chaotic Exchange allows you to reroll as many of your held shards as you'd like, the entire reroll counting as a single action. As you can see here, I only want to keep my fire shard. So, I'm going to take my other 5 shards and re-roll them to see if I can set up a better turn. Our next action is Reclamation, which allows you to return any of the shards allocated to your secret back into your hand. This gives you some flexibility to prioritize between your secret and the available spells on the board. And last, you have Nullification, the most aggressive of the conjure actions. This allows you to expend your own shards to destroy shards of the opposing element anywhere in the game, including your opponent's shards. For reference, opposing elements are directly opposite each other on the elemental cycle. As a demonstration, we can see that 1 shadow would destroy 1 light, or 2 water shards would destroy 2 fire shards, even if those 2 fire shards were in different locations. And both the shards spent and targeted would return to wild magic. Alright, let's take a look at the second half of your turn, the Priming Spells phase. This is where you'll acquire spells by spending any shards that you built up during your Conjure Shards phase. In order to end your turn, you must assign at least 1 shard to an available spell or to your secret. You do this by placing 1 or more shards onto the matching cost icons on the upper half of an available spell, or the back of your secret. If you fill the last cost icon on a spell card, move all the shards that were on that spell back to wild magic as their current element. Then, take that spell card, immediately scoring its victory points, and draw a replacement available or secret spell. During this phase, you may assign as many or as few shards as you'd like, spread among the available spells or your secret as you choose. This means that on a great turn, you may be able to pick up several spells at once. In this example, I fully prime Steam Blast. I assign the 1 fire and 1 water shard that it requires, and because it's fully primed, both the fire and water shard return to wild magic as those elements. I take Steam Blast to use later, immediately earn its 1 victory point, and refill the empty available spell slot. I also choose to add 1 Shadow Shard to my secret spell. Your primed spells are available for casting whenever you'd like. When you use a spell, declare it to the table and describe its effects, then resolve them. Turn the card sideways and set it apart from your other spells to represent that it's been cast. On the contrary, spells marked persistent are active the moment they are primed and remain in effect unless destroyed. If multiple players cast a spell at once, resolve each spell in the order it was declared. The only exceptions are spells that specifically prevent an action or effect. If you use a spell to prevent an action, declare exactly which effects you are countering, then continue resolving spells in the declared order. And with the prime spells phase complete, that concludes the turn. Play advances to the player on your left, and this continues until someone gets 18 or more victory points. And that's all you need to know to get started playing Shard Slingers. For more rule specifics, check the back of your player reference or the Shard Slingers FAQ page. Thanks for watching our How to Play video, and have a blast!